Gentlemen, thanks for joining us here on the stage. We're just going to chat casually. First, if you would, just sort of share with us what this week's been like, bringing your teams down here, enjoying the bowl week in Orlando. Coach?
Oh, it's been fabulous. Really have never been around Orlando till this week, and it's really a great city, very vibrant, and the bowl has been really special. We've been to some really good bowls the last 2 or 3 years, and, the Russell Athletic Bowl is certainly right up there at the top. So we've had a great time. I know the families that came along with us have really enjoyed it, and our players have had a good time also.
Yeah, our guys have had a great time. They've been to 2 of the parks, 2 of the 4 parks. They've had some fun each and every day, and we've, our families as well have had a good time. So it's been a lot of fun. You've enjoyed the weather, the pools, everything, and so now it's time to play some football.
Now, how do you balance? Some coaches say when you go to a bowl game, it should be a reward for a fabulous season. Others say it should be another day at work because you got a game to win. But as a head coach, philosophy-wise, how do you balance fun versus focus in what you're trying to do, Coach?
Well, I think our guys understood that we're coming here, with a purpose to win another game, but at the same time have a good time, And so for us, as long as our players enjoy themselves, and then when it's time to go to work with meetings and practice, they come in with the right attitude, and our guys have done a great job of that. And then for us, it's just to make sure that our families are the ones that really need that reward. They're the ones that sacrifice throughout the year and never get to see their dads or their husbands, as we prepare for a season.
Our seniors have done a great job of keeping us focused all year, so we've really stayed together as a football team, and it's been no different down here at the bowl game, and they've done a great job, and we're, just like Larry mentioned, we're all here to do a job. Our job is to really perform well tomorrow night.
Both of the programs, we mentioned you guys have a lot in common. Both grew up in Texas, started your careers there, and both these programs had to overcome some significant adversity this year. Coach Fedora, you guys opened the season with a disappointing loss against South Carolina, but then within weeks turned it around and were one of the hottest teams east of the Mississippi. What was the difference? What turned it around?
Well, the difference was the chemistry that we have on this football team. Our seniors also have done a tremendous job leading this team all the way through. And so that night, at the end of that game in the locker room, there was a lot of disappointment, a lot of sad faces. But I can remember seniors standing up in that room and said, this is going to define who we are and how we do things from this point on. And so they made a point of making sure the team grew closer together, and we've had a heck of a year.
Coach Briles, how would you describe 36 years of coaching, successful everywhere you've been, but this year, what you've had to endure with the injury situations and all the shuffling at quarterback, how would you describe what that's been like for you?
Doc, it's actually 37, but I appreciate it. But,
keeping you young.
Yeah. Honestly, to us, it's been very inspiring. It really has. It's one thing we always talk to our players about. If you can have one thing, what would you want? That's a chance, So we've been able to give some guys chances and opportunities this year that might not have gotten them, and it's allowed us to kind of rally as a football team. It's made us stick tight together, try to play really hard as a complete team, and I couldn't be more proud than what our team has been able to do and what they're planning to do tomorrow night.
Both of you are known, and everyone here tonight has talked about the high-powered offense. You're both known for up-tempo, no-huddle, high-powered, high-scoring offense. But what's the most common misconception people may have when they talk about the North Carolina or Baylor offense? When you hear some guy talking about it and maybe not really know what's happening, what do you think is the most common misstep when they speak?
Well, I would think everybody thinks that you spread it out and all you do is throw it around. And, they think that you can't be physical when you do that. But we pride ourselves on being a physical football team that can run the football. And it's something that, our guys take a lot of pride in, and it's as Art and them do they do it as good as anybody in the country, the same thing. So, but that's it. It would be that I think a lot of people don't think that you run the football when you spread it out.
Coach?
No, he hit it right on the nose. Same thing. People, think that you're just a, fancy, finesse team, but, when it's 3rd and 1, you got to make one. If it's 1st and 10, you want 4, you got to get 4. So our guys take a lot of pride in running the football.
And you both do it so well. Now, we talk about the offenses, but you guys each feature one of the best defensive coordinators in all of college football, and 2 of the people that everyone knows who they are and what they've done in their careers. But if you would, Coach Briles, take a moment and tell us what makes Phil Bennett so special for you.
Oh, I've known Phil for a long time. He's just a great person, first and foremost. He loves the players, cares about them genuinely, and, not just as a player, but as a person when they're there, when they're gone. He keeps in touch, and that's the first thing. Secondly, he's a very intelligent, passionate football coach. He loves the game, studies the game, works the game. our players are very knowledgeable. They understand what's going on, and he and his staff, I think, of course, I'm very biased, but I think they're the best in the United States. So we're privileged to have him on our staff and the rest of our coaches.
And Coach Fedora, arguably your best recruiting job came in the offseason when you convinced this guy to come out of the broadcast television booth to come back and be a defensive coordinator. Talk about what Gene Chizik has done this year with your defense.
Well, I can't say enough about Gene and our defensive staff and what they've accomplished this year, because Gene came in and set a new standard for Carolina defense and, told our guys, explained to them what that standard was, and then held them accountable for hitting that standard. And he installed pride immediately in those guys and a sense of confidence, and that's something that they've played throughout the season with.
We talked about roots and how important it is to learn from the right people when you're a young coach. And I'd like for both of you, if you would, just comment on the individual or individuals as you were starting out coaching that have had the biggest impact on who you are today as a football coach. Coach Briles?
When you talk about impact, I think you talk about inspiration and examples, and really the players that I've been around, assistant coaches, all through the career that I've had, was continually inspire me. Reaching back, Coach Yeoman at the University of Houston was a great influence on me from an intellectual standpoint of the game, and then W.T. Staper, a guy, one of my second high school jobs, did a great job, of being a tough-minded football coach, and then, I actually grew up in a coach's family. My father was a great influence, from that standpoint also.
A lot like Art. I mean, it's really every coach that I've ever coached with, coached against, you learn something in every one of those scenarios. Sometimes the way you want to do things, in the future, and then other times how you don't want to do things. And so I've been blessed to be around a lot of good football coaches, but probably the most inspirational person in my life has been my father. And, he's 80 years old and still cuts hair. He's a barber and is just he's been my inspiration my entire life.
I love hearing that from both of you, because football is about family, and that's where it starts. And speaking of family, both these teams, those of us who call these games, we mention certain names, certain marquee players, if you would, all the time. Their names get mentioned on television, but there are some players who are the unsung heroes on these teams, probably a dozen or more you could easily select. But I'm going to ask you each to pick one unsung hero that sort of behind the scenes has contributed to the success of this program this year. Coach?
It's really, we got a bunch of them, as you mentioned. I mean, they're all over the place because in our job, looking at our players, nobody's a hero. All of us trying to do our job to help our team win. But I would say Jamal Palmer, number 92, one of our defensive ends, tore his ACL last year, the fourth game year, came back this year and has really played really well. He's a 4-year straight guy and just a really inspirational player. Comes to work every day, gives his best, and game day plays with a lot of energy and passion.
Where are you, Jamal? Stand up.
Where you at, JP? There he is. Let's go. Great young man also.
All right, Coach Fedora?
And we have a lot as well. It's hard to pick out one, but I would have to say that young man, number 27, Charles Brunson, whose mother just lost a battle with cancer the first week of the season with us, and Charles was at the game. He played in that game. He's been an inspiration to our whole team. He's a guy that pays his own way to play on our football team and starts on our special teams, and I think is the epitome of what it means to be a team player. I mean, he's got 120-something brothers out there that he goes to battle with each and every day, and I think he's an inspiration to all of us.
Charles, where are you? Stand up, Charles. Great job, guys. As we wind up here, coaches, I'd like for you to talk a little bit about the senior class, the guys who are the seniors, and if we would, let me have the Baylor University seniors please stand and remain standing, if you would, please. All the seniors, fifth-year seniors, graduate transfers, if you'd please stand.
Great guys.
Coach Briles.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Okay, guys, you can have a seat. Coach Briles, how do you think this senior class will be remembered?
No question they'll be remembered by their spirit, by their passion, by their love of the game, love for our university, and love for the team. I mean, these guys, as you know, and the North Carolina players know, they sacrifice a lot. There's a lot of sacrifices that go on. So So we feel indebted to them, you know, as a coaching staff because of what they give to us. And these guys have done a great job. I'm very, very proud of them. And we're, you know, we're fighting for respect, quite honestly, you know, as a football team. You know, it's like I've been telling them, we don't want to live off 13 and 14. We want this team to have respect. And they've done a great job of holding us together this year, you know, when things didn't quite go our way. But that's life, you know, and that's the way it is. And how do you handle it? How you handle it determines the type of man that you are. And we got a lot of men sitting out there as seniors.
Yeah, well done, seniors. Now let's have the seniors from the University of North Carolina. You Tar Heel seniors, let's stand and be recognized. You guys can have a seat, Coach. How will you and the Tar Heel faithful remember this senior class?
Well, this senior class leaves a tremendous legacy at the University of North Carolina. They're a class of guys that have kept this team together throughout this year, and not only now, but you know, their 4 and 5 years careers at North Carolina haven't always been great. There's been a lot of things that they've had to overcome, a lot of adversity in their life, and like Art said, that's life. That's the way it is, and so there's no doubt in my mind of what these guys have accomplished in their 4 or 5 years here at the university, that they're all going to be successful. There's nothing that's going to happen to them later in life that they're not going to be able to handle because of what they've endured while they've been at school and the education they've gotten. So extremely proud of these guys, and we wouldn't be here today without those guys.
Well said. And 2 fabulous senior classes here with these 2 football teams. And final question, guys. Let's turn it toward tomorrow. And as you look at this game, I know you've had a lot of preparation, a lot of film. What do you guys see as the keys to being able to pull out a victory here tomorrow for the Baylor Bears?
You know, first of all, I have great respect for Coach Fedora. You know, known him a long time, fellow Texan, and you know, Bubba. You know, the AD when I was at University of Houston, he was at Tulsa. So, you know, there's great people leading their university and their football team. So we know we're playing a really, really good football team. You mentioned it one time during the season, probably as hot as anybody in America. I mean, to win 11 straight, I mean, I'm not sure there's anybody else in America that did it other than probably Clemson, you know. So that's an accomplishment now, and that's something that, you know, we certainly understand as an opponent, you know, what that takes. And we have a lot of respect for them. The keys to winning, I think, are like they are always. You know, you win the turnover battle, momentum, field position, you got a chance to win the game. And, you know, we know they're going to play with a lot of effort and passion, and our guys are going to do the same. So it's going to be a great football game.
Well said. Coach?
Yeah, I would say we have the utmost respect for what Baylor has accomplished. I mean, if you look at what they've done in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been pretty tremendous. And me being at the or at Baylor University so many years ago, I know what Art has accomplished with his staff and that team there. So we know they're going to get out on that field tomorrow, and they're going to come after us. They're going to get after us, and we've got to take care of the football. We're going to have to be sound in special teams and sound on defense. And if we do those things, we'll have a chance.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, congratulations to our head coaches, to their staff, and the players on a fabulous year, and we wish them both the best of luck in tomorrow's Russell Athletic Bowl. How about a nice round of applause for our head coaches from Baylor University in North Carolina?